Hey, what's up, YouTube? Have you ever been walking through a Costco warehouse and you came upon this white box of generic looking motor oil called Kirkland Signature, and you've been wondering if it's any good? I want you to stay tuned to this video. I'm going to change the oil in my C7 Corvette using this Costco brand Kirkland Signature full synthetic oil. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you how I really feel about this generic looking Kirkland Signature motor oil that Costco sell. So let's get started. So before I change the oil on my Corvette, I want to go over with you what it says on the box. It's a Kirkland Signature. It comes with two 5-quart jugs. It's a 2-pack. It's a full synthetic SAE 5W30. It's dextrose 1, GM approved, generation 3. So I'm going to open up the box and just show you what it looks like. You're getting 2 of these jugs that's coming in the box. My Corvette holds 7 quarts of oil. It does not have the supercharger. If you have the supercharger, you're gonna need 9.8 quarts of oil. But for my application, it's only 7 quarts of oil. As you can see, these black jugs come in the box, and it meets the General Motors oil specifications for this type of vehicle. So before we change the oil on my Corvette, I'm going to pull the automobile out. I'm going to put it up on some ramps so I can climb underneath, and then we're going to get into changing the oil on this Corvette. The oil filter that I'm using is going to be a Mobil 1. I normally run Mobil 1 oil with the Mobil 1 filter. But in this video, we're going back with the Costco Kirkland Signature. All right, so let's get started. As you can see, I have the Corvette lifted off of the ground using these ramps. And it allows me to slide underneath the vehicle safely. To perform this oil change, I'm going to use a braking bar with a 15mm socket. To take out the drain plug, I have my oil pan ready, and I'm going to loosen this drain plug. I have a paper towel ready and handy. Going to just take out this drain plug. The engine is already warmed up to temperature. There we go. Wipe off any excess oil from the drain plug. And we're going to just let this drain. I'm going to use this oil filter cup with a ratchet to take off the oil filter. So I'm going to reach in and loosen the oil filter.
And we're gonna just let that drain. Now, some people actually puncture a hole in the oil filter to drain out the oil before you remove it. And you can do that. There are several different ways to do your oil change. I generally just loosen my oil filter and let it drain before I remove the oil filter. If you want to speed up the process, get your napkin ready. Just reach in with gloves on and loosen the oil filter. That'll speed up the process. Just let all of that drain into your pan. And just be careful because the oil can get really hot. If the engine is hot, you want to let the oil cool down. But just make sure that the oil is up to operating temperature, and take off your oil filter cap on the engine to help the oil drain better. Check your rubber gasket, replace it if necessary. I'm going to screw back in my oil drain plug. And you can now tighten this down to the manufacturer's recommended torque setting. After you tighten this down back to the manufacturer's torque setting, now we can get the oil filter ready to be installed. Wipe up any excess oil if needed. Before I install my oil filter, I like to preload it with oil before I install the oil filter. So I'm going to take my oil and I want to preload the oil filter. And we're going to just let that soak in. I like to take a little bit of oil and just rub it around the gasket. This oil filter is now preloaded and it's ready to be installed back onto the engine. So I'm going to take my preloaded oil filter, make sure you don't cross thread it, tighten down that oil filter. I like to just hand tighten it. Once I hand tighten it, I like to give it a quarter of a turn. Just give it 1/4 of a turn. Right there. That should be enough. Also, while underneath the vehicle, I like to take some brake parts cleaner and just spray around the oil filter just to make sure that there's no oil leaks. A clean Corvette is a happy Corvette. And we'll just let that drain. And now we can go topside and put in the remaining 7 quarts of oil. So now we're ready to go back with the Kirkland SAE 5W30. Advanced wear protection for extended engine oil life, controls thermal breakdown caused by excessive heat for gasoline engines, dextrose 1. So it's GM approved generation 3.
replace the oil filler cap. After I run the engine, I'll check the oil just to verify my oil levels. You do not want to overfill. I'm going to top off this windshield washer fluid since I'm already under the hood. I can let the engine run, let the oil get up to operating temperature, and once it's on level ground, I'll let it sit for about 5 minutes and recheck the oil. To dispose of the used oil, I'm going to pour it into a container, and I can take this oil up to a parts store and dispose of it free of charge. And I'm going to just let that drain. And that's all there is to it. Now that I have the oil change inside of this Corvette, what do I really think about this Costco brand Kirkland Signature full synthetic motor oil? Is it any good? To be honest with you, this is not the first time that I've actually changed the oil in my Corvette using some of this Costco brand oil. I'm so impressed with the Costco brand Kirkland Signature oil that I use it in all of my vehicles. I use it in my trucks. I use it in my cars. I have not had any issues using the Costco brand oil. It's cheaper than going to a parts store to buy oil. It's cheaper than going to Walmart. But it's 100% full synthetic oil, and it meets the GM requirements for this particular vehicle. Dextrose 1, GM approved, Generation 3. So the bottom line, in my personal opinion, if you've been looking at this oil and you've been wondering if it's any good, yes, this oil is good. I've not had any issues with it. I've used it in all of my vehicles. On my last oil change using this exact same oil, but I didn't want to make a video until after I used it. So my personal opinion, this oil is great. If you walk into the warehouse, I highly suggest you pick up 2 or 3 boxes and put it on your shelf. It's going to be cheaper than going to a Napa or an AutoZone or an Advance or even a Walmart. You're getting 2 5-quart jugs, 2 5-quart jugs. And I think I paid around $38 for both of those. So I'm highly impressed. The bottom line is that if you're thinking about picking up some of this motor oil, you will not go wrong. It's all I've been using inside of my vehicles. Now, I know there are some of you out there, you have certain oils that you prefer. Some of you guys may like castor oil. I've used castor oil for years. Some of you guys may prefer Mobil 1. Some of you guys may even like Pennzoil. In my personal opinion, this Costco brand oil is amazing. I have 0 complaints about it. So I want all of my viewers to chime in on this video and let me know if you've been using this Costco brand oil and what has been your experience with this oil. Have you had any issues with this oil? How do you like it? Be sure to put that down in the comment section because your comments actually could help someone that's considering even picking up some of this oil out of Costco warehouse. But in my personal opinion, I give it the green light. I give it 5 stars. I'm totally happy with it. Will I buy it again? Yes. Will I recommend it to my family and friends? Yes. If anybody out there watching this video, if you've been thinking about buying some of this oil, yes, this oil is good. It's Caliente approved. I use it in all of my vehicles and I have not had any issues with it. Chime in on this video. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit later out here in the Caliente garage.